you all sorts of stories, but that's not necessarily true. They're trying to gain your trust, gain your money, gain your interest, gain your followers, gain your support. So here's a story that came out yesterday that's got no truth to it. And I'm not knocking on the reporter because the reporter's excellent. Mark Stein, New York Times. He's great. Rick Carlisle, the Lakers are widely expected to get rid of Luke Walton, and reportedly they are interested in bringing in Dallas Mavericks Rick Carlisle. Well, I'm sure they are, so the report is accurate. But that means it was leaked, because stories only get out if somebody wants them out. Rick Carlisle's not coming to Los Angeles. Maybe the Clippers, not the Lakers. He's not leaving Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis and Mark Cuban. Dallas next year could be scary good. There's no chance this happens. This is the Lakers and or Clutch Sports and LeBron's people leaking it. Why? Because it makes the Lakers seem more relevant. And they're not anymore. Do you think this story leaked by coincidence on the day the Clippers clinched the playoff spot last night? Nah, bruh, that's not a coincidence. The Clippers clinched a playoff spot, and what do you know? Rick Carlisle, Lakers, let's remain viable. And guys like Colin will talk about it, and it'll be on debate shows and your sports centers, and it's not happening. First of all, the two coaches up for the Lakers job, this is not an elite job right now. It's not. It's not an elite job. Our Jason Kidd, who got fired in Milwaukee, and they got way better the minute he left, 7 seed to 1 seed. And the other job he's up for, Lakers, is the Cal Bears, which is a bad basketball job. Forget in college basketball in the world. It's just not a good Pac-12 basketball job. And the second guy up for it's Ty Lue. He got fired too, and I think he's a pretty good coach, but it's not like teams are lining up for him either, especially the good ones. This story's leaks. Rick Carlisle, big name, respected coach, the night the Clippers clinch a playoff spot. That is not a coincidence. Let's steal some headlines. Let's get talked about. And frankly, they did this morning on this show. But Paul George passed on the Lakers, and top coaches are not interested in this job. And the Lakers absolutely want to remain viable. And I said this last week. The Lakers have become Mike Tyson later in his career. They no longer work on their jab. They're just big haymakers, knockout swings, a lot of whiffs, not very efficient, looking for the big knockout, but they're sloppy. They're not doing their homework. They just gave away Zubac, their great young center. The Lakers have 3 or 4 things going against them. They're arguably the second worst shooting team in the NBA to Phoenix. It's now a shooter's league. LeBron will be in his 17th year, coming off his first real injury. Worse, by the way, than we predicted, according to a report by Joy yesterday on the show. Their top 2 young players, Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram, are now injury-prone, and that is not debatable. And oh, by the way, the front office is not considered elite, according to my sources around the NBA. Those are not fixable issues. LeBron's not getting younger. Lonzo's not going to become non-injury prone. The front office isn't suddenly going to hire R.C. Buford from the Spurs and get great, or Danny Ainge from the Celtics. And oh, by the way, where are you going to find shooters? This story is leaked to make the Lakers seem viable. Now, they may land Anthony Davis, and that will make them more interesting. But when I wrote that first book, the whole point of it was to tell you there's 2 stories you're fed. The truth and the one people feed you. This is clearly leaking a story to make sure that the team that is no longer considered a really viable spot for top free agents. Kawhi, a story came out yesterday, not interested again. Kevin Durant's not coming here. Klay Thompson's not coming here. Kyrie Irving, 5% chance, 95 not coming here. Anthony Davis, potentially, perhaps probably, if you can trade for him with limited assets. 2 stories, one you're being fed, and the truth. And the truth here is Rick Carlisle, no way in the world would leave the Dallas Mavericks and their future and Mark Cuban for what currently is happening with the Lakers. All right, said something yesterday at the end of the show. Staff freaked out. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I say stuff, it matters. No question. But I didn't think it was a big deal. Everybody freaked out. Talk about that next. If you haven't tried the delicious, high-quality meat from Butcher Box, I have. You should. It's great. Meat the way it's meant to.
Find paranoia instead.
Here we go. This is The Herd on the Wednesday, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Great to have you here. Everybody from Dean Blandino, Joel Klatt, Nick Wright, Nick Swisher. Baseball officially starting tomorrow. Joy Taylor is joining me here on a Wednesday. Joy, how are you?
I'm great. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Wasn't it Biggie Smalls, Mo Money, Mo Problems? Wasn't he the guy that said that? A lot of times we get something and we think it adds to our life, and it defines our life and adds precision to our life, and it just creates more problems. So the NFL owners have passed a new one. Pass interference is now reviewable. Oh, that'll make everything right. Right? Wrong. Now, here's the first thing. Coaches still only have 2 challenge flags. So don't overreact. I don't like it. But coaches still only have 2 challenge flags. If I'm a head coach, here's why I don't like it. Now I've got my wide receiver, who historically are the biggest egos on the team, coming up to me, up the sideline constantly. Throw your flag, throw your flag, throw your flag, pass interference. Oh, boy. Also, the NFL, I think, believes this is going to solve stuff, and it's going to create more arguments. You ever heard of that thing called the Ring videotape doorbell? You ever heard of that thing? Ring videotape doorbell. You've seen it on doorbells. It was created to spot burglars. It's a little camera. It's there to spot burglars and make sure nobody weird is at your door. But the problem is everybody looks weird in that fisheye lens camera. And we live in a time now where there's delivery people constantly coming to your door. And so instead of creating security, it's created paranoia through America because everybody's got 10 delivery people walking up and down their door constantly. And that was created to end it, and it started it. Just more problems. This is the New Orleans Saints pushed this. We're showing you this play for about the 8,000th time. You do realize this is not what most pass interference penalties look like. It is arguable, it is nebulous, it is grabbing, reaching, touching, pulling, which coaches coach. It's like boxing out in basketball. You could argue everything's a pass interference. 95% of the NFL contact, quarterback and wide receiver, does not look like this. It does not. It's not obvious. It's arguable. Go watch games throughout the course of a season. They allow clutching and grabbing and pulling, and now you think you've solved everything. No, you haven't. You're going to get those replays, and there's going to be more power to the officials. The officials are going to have more power to influence games. The Saints are doing this because they want the officials to have less. What are you going to do with a Hail Mary at the end of a game? There's pass interference on every Hail Mary.